Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Well, XRP continues to hold the number 5 spot, despite all of the super duper scary news with the surrounding the SEC going after Ripple, which I think is going to ultimately prove to be perhaps the biggest shakeout in the history of the cryptocurrency asset class to this point. Because I just no way to know for sure, and I acknowledge holding XRP is more risky now than it was before all of this. But I don't believe for a moment that XRP will be declared, an illegal security. And I don't think that Ripple will be put in a position to where they can't sell XRP ever again. That's not the purpose of this video, so I'm not going to go into it. I've talked about it quite a bit lately. But I want to talk a bit about where things are going in terms of price action and why some of this stuff is happening just on a macro level, big picture stuff. What is functionally going on here? And I'm going to share with you tweets. There are actually several tweets from a very popular analyst named Willy Woo. I highlight him on the channel from time to time, but he had 4 really interesting ones I think are going to just enjoy hearing his perspective, so I decided I'm going to share them in this video. Also, and I gotta love, hopefully you love this too, but look at this headline. From the Daily Huddle, JP Morgan offers 3 reasons investors should consider Bitcoin despite its unconventional and highly volatile nature. Mind you, when we were in 2017, at the time, the biggest bull run in the history of the cryptocurrency asset class, which is, this one's ripping it to shreds, obviously. But at the time, the biggest bull run ever, you had Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan saying that Bitcoin was a fraud. That's the word he used, fraud. Now you've got JP Morgan, now that they're making money on it, singing the praises of it. They've come around. They felt threatened by it, then they found out, okay, it's not such a contrarian view to be into crypto anymore, not like it was. And so it's more widely accepted. It doesn't make you look like you're some sort of unprofessional boob out there. And so they're in it. They're in the world of crypto, and they are pushing it. So I'm going to be running through that. And there's definitely, to some degree, market manipulation and in terms of price action. And with markets being as illiquid as they are, well, certainly illiquid compared to any other asset class, it doesn't take much money coming in or out to manipulate. So if you're a wise and wealthy investor, you can totally take advantage of the typical retail speculator by buying a whole bunch or selling a whole bunch and freaking out markets so that you can buy back cheaper. And I do think that there's sufficient evidence to prove that happens. It's kind of a question to what degree. And so I've got a story on that topic as well. But I do want to be clear, I don't have a financial background of any kind. I'm not offering financial advice. You absolutely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I just think it's fun to talk about these things as an enthusiast, and I run this YouTube channel purely as a hobby. That is all that it is. But I appreciate the support very much. Channel has been growing like crazy, especially these last few months. But anyway, as I record this, XRP is at 27.8 cents. Bitcoin is at 33,292. Market cap is at 965 billion. And by the way, I put out a tweet earlier that Bitcoin dominance had dropped to, at the time it may have been displayed, maybe it was 57%. And it looks like this is likely, you can see it's on the screen right now. Bitcoin dominance 57.45%, but they're the only entity reporting this. And so it could very well be the case this is simply some sort of glitch. And I don't know. As soon as I saw that, though, because normally I don't even bother checking more than one source because, more or less, yeah, they pull numbers differently, but CoinMarketCap and LiveCoinWatch, they're almost exactly the same typically. And so I was just like, holy hell, that's like a dramatic drop, and you can see it just like plummeting. And so I was like, well, what the hell is going on there? Money must be flowing in, and money is actually flowing in to altcoins. And that's why you can see Bitcoin dominance, at least lately, has been decreasing. It certainly could go on another major tear. In fact, we're kind of anticipating that'll happen at some point. But in the short term, more money is just going into alts, right? And it was interesting. In fact, if you take a look at where most of the money has, you're not going to believe this. If you don't look at this ever, check this out. I'm going to go ahead and rank LiveCoinWatch by percentage gains for all cryptocurrencies they're tracking within the last 24 hours. I don't know what this is, but there's a cryptocurrency ranked 674 on the website, in terms of market cap called Peepcoin, PCN, and it's up 11,930% within the last 24 hours. Crypto is stupid. Like, what in the ever-loving hell is going on here? You've got another one, the next one, Neconium. I don't know what the hell this crap is. 1,257%. And so look, this is why I've always cited that if you invest in a small cap coin and you're fortunate enough that it takes off, that's where the biggest percentage gains will be. I am not willing to touch this stuff. I'm most interested in large cap and some mid cap coins. The mid cap coins are more risky. And the closer you get to the top in terms of market cap, like that's what people investing in crypto have said, okay, yes, this seems most safe out of this not safe to invest in a crypto asset class. Like that's pretty much the way I look at it. Because, you know, people need a way to kind of rank these things. And so they've decided market cap is the one. And there's so little money in these particular cryptocurrencies, these small cap ones. It just doesn't take much, and it's just like they take off. But that doesn't make me want to go invest in them. I mean, if you want to, like, I'm not going to tell you to do it or not do it. You make your own choices, but I will not be doing that. I feel like I just get completely wrecked, but who knows? Maybe not. I don't know, because I mean, I acknowledge the cycle of, like, you know, money goes into Bitcoin, then large cap, then mid cap, and then small cap coins. But man, I don't know for sure if all of them are going to run this alt cycle. Not literally. I mean, there's like 7,000 cryptocurrencies out there. I don't know. I just thought I'd highlight because it's genuinely fascinating to me. Oh, and by the way, worth mentioning as well, Spark token. Obviously it's only the IOU, but it's worth 16.6 cents as I record this. And then you still got some, like, this. I gotta highlight this too. This was too funny to not share. Peter Schiff, Goldbug Peter Schiff, so anti-crypto, so right on so many things, so wrong on everything crypto just about. He tweeted out the following. The idea that Bitcoin is scarce, as there's only 21 million, is nonsense. One Bitcoin merely represents an arbitrary quantity of 100 million Satoshis. And so, just be clear before I finish the tweet, for those of you not in the know, every single Bitcoin is divisible by 100 million. That means there's 100 million little pieces of Bitcoin inside of one single Bitcoin, and each one of those little pieces is called a Satoshi. Anyway, here's the rest of his tweet. So, it's the total number of Satoshis that must be considered. With a supply of 2.1 quadrillion Satoshis, are anything but scarce. And so I read that and I was like, oh my God. It's like faceplant, audible sigh. So I retweeted that and wrote the following. I wrote, I'm just glad the internet is forever. This will be fun for future people to look back on in the coming decades and beyond. Hashtag Bitcoin. By the way, an ounce of gold is divisible. Not sure you thought about that. As such, your logic says that gold is not scarce. Does he think about some stuff before he tweets it? I like the guy, but oh my gosh, he couldn't be more wrong on this stuff. And somebody on Twitter that has named themselves Selena wrote, yo, I just bought 7 quadrillion molecules of gold. So clearly getting the point that I'm making here. Oh my God, like gold's not freaking divisible, and that's the nail in the coffin right there. Okay, thank you, Peter Schiff. Okay. All right, now into stuff from Willy Boo. This is fascinating here because look, he's talking about Bitcoin here, but look, XRP follows Bitcoin just like every other coin in the market. And I want to point this out too, actually, so that I almost forgot this. Let me bring back up the top 10 cryptocurrencies by market cap. Look at the weekly chart here. I'm just going to keep illustrating this when it lines up like this, which isn't always but the case, but it is now. Throw out Tether because it's a stable coin. Look at the top 10 cryptocurrencies on the weekly chart here. What do you notice about them? They look strikingly similar. Look, I'm just telling you, and if you have eyeballs, you can verify this. Altcoins follow Bitcoin. Period. Not always down to the second, the minute, the day, the week, the month, the quarter, so on and so forth, but they do follow. And there are certain instances which are fairly common where you do see them line up like this. And that just shows that we're in an asset class that's truly nascent, where people have not sufficiently parsed out the differences between cryptocurrencies. And that's why, in general, the asset class just moves together. Not if you look on short time frames, not always, but if you zoom out on a chart, it absolutely moves in tandem. Verifiably, provably so. Look it up. You know, if you've got eyeballs, you can see this stuff. Here's a tweet now from Willy Woo. Uh-oh, $100,000 price targets too low. Upward bendy motion detected on top cap model, now on track for $200,000 minimum. And that was on January 18th. So and this is a point that I'd made a couple times somewhat recently, which is that people that have been predicting, you know, more like $80,000 to $100,000 Bitcoin, many of them, given how quickly Bitcoin has ramped up, are reevaluating those positions and saying, no, actually, it's looking like it's going to go much higher. And then you had like the leaked document from even Citibank that said, what was the number? 318,000 for Bitcoin. I think this market cycle, or they might have even said 2021. You know, it's just amazing. Everybody is just like, they've got massive, predictions in terms of how high the top's going to be for this market cycle, and they're increasing it. Truly fascinating. Here's some more. These are more recent tweets now from Willy Woo just the other day here. He wrote, this is in response to something by somebody named Travis. I don't know who Travis Kling is, but who wrote, BlackRock has $7.8 trillion under management, which is coincidentally about double what the U.S. deficit will be in 2021. And there are still folks out here selling/shorting Bitcoin because Matado scam. And I'm not sure who Travis is, but I did cover this story just the other day. And it's massive how, like, the implications. Check this out. So Willy Woo retweeted that and wrote the following. You're going to find this fascinating. BlackRock loves Bitcoin. They manage the equivalent of 8% of world GDP. Did you hear that? 8% of world GDP. Bitcoin is 0.6 of world GDP in comparison. This is what happens to Bitcoin price when the high net worth get that kind of validation to buy Bitcoin. And he's got a chart associated with it right here. And so the big money is indeed coming in. It's unquestionably so, and there's not that much Bitcoin out there, despite what Peter Schiff says. There's only, whether it's a couple million or so liquid today, whatever the number is, out of a max supply ultimately of 21 million. Most of it's just either lost or in deep cold storage and not going to be on the market again anytime soon, if ever. And it's like Mike Novogratz used to say, the herd is coming, and I recently heard him say, the herd is here. True words, seemingly, right? It certainly sounds like it. Now check out this next one from Willy Woo. Oh, look, suddenly there's a whole bunch of newly minted whales, holders of 1,000 Bitcoin /$32 million worth of Bitcoin. And then he writes in parentheses, I'm seeing more whales coming in on this dip. So look, the retail investor that doesn't know what the hell they're doing, they jump in, they purchase at a certain price, then it dips, they freak out, and then they panic sell it, and then the rich people that already have a bunch of money come in and then buy your fear, basically. That's what they're doing. They're purchasing you. You are selling your fear to them in the form of Bitcoin. They are purchasing your fear in the form of Bitcoin. That's what they're doing. And they understand that this is how humans behave, and they make a ton of money as a result. These dips are going to continue to happen. There were 9 of them averaging 37% dips from 2015 through the end of 2017, the mega bull run. And you're going to see a number of them like we just saw here. It's going to be the case. So if you're just, I'm not telling you to buy or sell. I'm telling you to arm yourself with as much information as possible if you're going to be in the space. And using emotion to determine whether or not you should buy or sell is a terrible idea. And in the absence of data, that's when it's even more likely to happen if you're not aware of these types of facts, these types of things that I'm talking about here. And even then, you'll still feel emotions probably. And it's still bad to act on emotions rather than data. Now, I've been in here long enough that when I just see these sways, whether it's XRP or Bitcoin or the whole market, it actually, I actually, and I mean this, I'm not trying to sound like a super cool guy, I'm a dork, but I do not emotionally get hit at all anymore when the price goes down. Like, it just doesn't, it's just, I understand there's a bunch of useful idiots out there that are making very poor financial decisions, and that's what results in volatility, which to me represents an opportunity. All right, here's one last tweet from Willy Woo. Coins are moving off the market to very strong holders, the ones that keep accumulating without selling, which are in red. And this is coming from Glassnode. So I just want to highlight that if you care to look at your screen, this is data. The people that are purchasing, they're buying the dip. It's going to accounts that aren't selling, just letting you know it's off the market. So they are buying your fear. If you're selling, they're happy to buy. Good luck out there. Here's a tweet from a chart analyst Magic. Bitcoin isn't far from the 50-day moving average, around $28,000. I suspect that will be the floor for this sell-off, and I expect a huge bounce from that level should we get there. And it's worth noting, Willy Woo, I didn't highlight the tweet, but he said 29,000, so splitting hairs here at this point. They're both roughly saying the same thing, just thought I'd mention it. And I'm not going to go through this piece, but I wanted to mention also, chart analyst Rakesh Upadhyay still says that potentially in the short term, 38-cent XRP is potentially in the cards. And then Credible Crypto, his most recent analysis having to do with XRP, and he's seemingly still standing by it, is that XRP in the short term is going to hit 46 cents. All right, so now into this piece, the Daily Hodl. JP Morgan offers 3 reasons investors should consider Bitcoin, despite its unconventional and highly volatile nature. You gotta love this. It's so rich, because I just remember firmly these terrible statements like the likes of Jamie Dimon. Oh my God, Bitcoin's a fraud. Back in 2017, my oh my, how things have changed. Banking giant JP Morgan is sharing 3 upsides to betting on the king of crypto. And an assessment issued by JP Morgan's cross-asset strategy team, the firm explains the benefits of investing in Bitcoin despite its large and frequent price fluctuations. Economist and crypto trader Alex Kruger shared the document on Twitter. In it, the banking firm highlights overall favorable market conditions, the diminishing returns of bonds and conventional hedges, and Bitcoin's unconventional platform as factors that make the asset worth enduring high volatility. And here's a quote. Why bother considering an unconventional and high volatility hedge? 3 reasons. Equity and credit valuations look record rich for a very young business cycle. Conventional hedges like DM bonds barely serve as insurance when U.S. 10-year rates are near 1%, and some as yet unseen shocks, materially higher inflation, economically debilitating cyber attacks, or a climate catastrophe, could favor an asset that operates outside conventional channels. Well, how about that? I thought it was a fraud, but now it could save everybody that owns it. I'm having a good time here. Oh my gosh, I should probably just wrap up there. It's always fun to make fun of these people that said such horrible things, and then you look at how they're acting, and then they just jump in. It's just that's why you gotta watch what they do, not just what they say, because it doesn't always align. And they started doing things in the background, and then once they got into a position where they can make money off Bitcoin, then they're verbally very pro Bitcoin in the crypto asset class. Well, go figure. Been saying that for years that was going to happen. This should not be a surprise. All right. So anyway, to sum it all up, though, I could not be more optimistic for the future. My XRP bags are packed. I'm waiting to see what happens. I'm hoping for some settlement action. Who knows when that will pop up, if it ultimately does. But presumably within the next 6 months, roughly. And if so, holy hell, man. It's going to be insane. Because they're going to be rushed back in. It's going to be hard for so many people in the United States to get into one of the 3 cryptocurrency exchanges that has it. Because they're not even necessarily going to know where to go. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything, because if anything I say or write, that would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.